Hi, hello, and welcome to everyone. Today, you are going to hear the story The Shroud by Munshi Premchand. The story it is published in 1935. Actually, it is the last story of Premchand. In fact, we call this as a pessimistic and a bleak story. It's a dark and negative shade story. The central characters in this story, their awful attitude towards the family members and the society, it's irritating us. And in the final scenes and all, their mood swings due to the intoxication of alcohol. It's very different to listen to you. I hope you would enjoy the story. And the story, the narrative practice here is in medias res. That is, the story, it starts in the middle, and the past events are narrated through the flashbacks and it goes forward. This type of narrative practice is called in medias res. Okay, we'll get into the story. When the story starts, Ghisu, a 60-year-old man, and his son Madhav, a young one, both of them were sitting outside their hut. They were very poor. They belonged to the Chalmers family, that is, they are the cobblers. The habit of Ghisu is if he worked for one day, he rested for 3 days. And Madhav, he is also like that. He is also a slacker like his daddy. And if he worked for an hour, he smoked for an hour. So no one is interested in calling them or hiring them for the work. Even if there is a handful of grain in the house, they won't go to the work. They fasted for couple of days, and after that, when they were hungry, Ghisu, when they could not tolerate, Ghisu, he climbed up the trees and broke up the branches, and Madhav, he went to the market and sold it. As long as they have the money, they both they swore off from working. They won't go to the work. This is their routine. Actually, the village, there is no shortage of work in the village. It was a village of farmers. Hard working men were there. If they really go in search for a job, means they would get plenty. But people also, they are not willing to hire these two because of their attitude and their behavior. The poor villagers, without the smallest hope of repayment, sometimes they used to lend these two something or other. In the remaining days, they used to eat potatoes or peas which were taken from other field, and the sugar canes, they used to stack them at night. Ghisu, he had spent 60 years of life in the same manner, and Madhav is also following his father's footsteps. Uh, as I told you, both of them were sitting outside the hut. Inside that, this Madhav's wife, recently, that is before 1 year, Madhav had got married, and that woman, she was in delivery pain. Her name was Budhya. When this woman came, she had laid the foundations of civilizations in the family. She used to grind grain, cut grass, and she used to arrange for some meal for these two. After that, these two became more lazier than earlier. Now that woman, she was dying today while she is giving childbirth. She is in pain. But these two, they were so indifferent. They worry that they could not sleep in peace. When she dies, they think that they could sleep in peace. See their attitude towards their family member. Now Ghisu, he is taking a potato in his hand, peeling it, and said, see, go inside that hut and see what's happened to her, your wife. But for that, Madhav, he says he suspects that Ghisu would eat more than him. He would finish off the potatoes and says, no, I am not ready to go home. Whatever it is, if she is going to die, what is the use of going and seeing her? Then for that, Ghisu again, he says, why you are afraid of? I am here after all. Then you can go and have a look at her. For that, Ghisu said, when my wife was dying, for 3 days, I never left her side. But you have lived with her for more than a year. I have not have seen her face. How can I go and see her in this at this time when she is writhing and when she is moaning and all? Now, Madhav he is asking, what will happen if the child is born? We don't have dried ginger, brown sugar, oil. There is nothing at all in the house. Ghisu console him, everything will come, Madhav. If Bhagavan is giving a child, these people who are not giving a paisa, they would send us and give us things. I have had 9 sons. There was never anything in the house, but this is how we managed every time. So this is the usual in the part of life of this Ghisu. He had born 9 sons, but he didn't have anything at home. The poor villagers, they used to help him. Ghisu has noticed the peasants in his villages. They were not much better of these two because the landowners they used to exploit them. Because of that, inwardly Ghisu he doesn't want to work. He became a slacker and he wants to join the tricksters group, but he cannot emerge as the landowner, but somehow he is managing without not working. Now these two are sitting outside the hut. They are pulling out the potatoes and they are eating. The potato is very hot. They have not eaten anything since the day before, so they were very much impatient to wait till the potatoes they cool. They burn their tongues, but they are not worrying about that. And they feel they have the equipment for cooling it down. It is their stomach, so they swallow it fast. The attempt of eating it brought tears to their eyes. At that time, Ghisu has remembered a landowner's wedding procession in which he had taken part 20 years before. Even now, he is enjoying remembering that. He says the girl's family they fed nearly many puris for them. That is, they fed many puris to everyone, great and small. That is, rich and poor. All of them enjoyed eating puris. They served with chutney, raita, 3 kinds of green vegetables, stew, yogurt, chutney, and sweets were there. And the puris they were made in ghee. There was no limit whether you want it, you just ask, you will get it. People they ate so much, and Ghisu has also eaten many puris, and he refused even to drink any water. He was very tired after eating that, and he slept in that place itself. Ghisu he is now saying this to his son Madhav, and he is remembering that. Madhav loved to hear about the feast and says, if only somebody would give us such a feast now. For that Ghisu replied, nowadays people they think about economy, they don't spend money on weddings, they don't spend money on religious festivals. When the time comes to spend, they think about economy. Okay, you must have eaten 20 or so puris in that feast. I ate more than 20. I would have eaten up to 50. I could not have eaten less than 50. You are not half of what I was. This is the conversation they are having when the woman inside the hut she was moaning. She was shouting in pain. After eating, they both drank some water and they covered themselves with the rag dhotis, and like two gigantic serpents, they slept there. And Budhiya, she was still mourning. In the morning, when Madhav went into the hut and looked, his wife was died. Flies were buzzing on her face, and her eyes had rolled upward. Her whole body was covered with dust. In her stomach, the baby had died. Madhav, he came running to Ghisu. Then they both together they loudly lament the death of their family member. When neighbors they heard, they weep, and then they gathered. Now, Gisu's and Madhav's worry is about taking the shroud, the sari they wrap around the dead body. Money was as scarce in the house as a meat in the raptor's nest. The author is saying like this. See how he is making fun. Money was as scarce in the house as meat in a raptor's nest. The father and the son, they went to the village landlord. The people, they were consoling them, and when they were meeting the village landlord, he started to question them. A number of times the landlord has beaten them for theft or not for coming to work as these two had promised. What is Kesu? Why do you weep? Nowadays we are not seeing you here around. We thought that you are no longer in the village. For that Ghisu replied, he prostrated on the ground, and then he is replying, Master, I am in a great trouble. Madhav's wife, no, she has passed away last night. She was in pain. We tried to save the baby. We gave her medicines. We sat by her till midnight. Whatever the medicines we give her, but there is no result. We are devastated. Our house is destroyed, Master. We don't have money for her rituals. We are your slaves. You have to give the money for the ritual. Likewise, he was crying. The landlord, he is a compassionate one, but showing compassion to Ghisu is trying to dye a black blanket. So he says, get out of here. You can keep the corpse in your house and let it rot. Usually you two people won't come when you are called, but now when you are in want of something, you are coming and flattering me. You villains, he shouted. But he knows that this is not the occasion for action, anger, or revenge. So he pulled out 2 rupees and then he threw it on them. They took the money. And now Ghisu has 2 rupees, and with that, and it is given by the landlord. So he went to other village merchants and money lenders and informed them that his daughter-in-law has died, and so he is in need of money. They gave them 2 paisas, 4 paisas. Likewise, they have collected the sum of 5 rupees. Some people they gave grain, and some they gave wood, and now as I told you, they have got 5 rupees in their hand, and they are marching towards the market to get a shroud. Other people, they are starting to cut the bamboo poles to carry the dead body on. And now when they reach the market, Ghisu, he says, see, we have got enough wood to burn her. Am I right, Madhav? Yes, sir, there is plenty of wood. We have to buy only a shroud. Okay, we will buy a light kind of a shroud. Yes, I accept, because the dead body will be carried at night time. So, who will have a look at this shroud? Okay, see, the bad customers, when the people they are alive, they are not giving any money. Others, they are not giving any money for their life, but when they died, see, they are giving money. After all, the shroud is also going to burn with the body. Okay, if she is alive, and we can give her the treatment with this money. See, the people are giving the money after her death. What is the use? So now each of them inwardly, they have got something other in their mind. They kept wandering in the market. They went to many shops. They looked at silk, cotton saris, but nothing suited them. The two arrived. The author saying that by chance or deliberately, he is using the word by chance or deliberately, they are standing before a wine house. It's like a pre-arranged decision. They went inside. Ghisu, he is asking for a bottle. Please give us a bottle too. And then Ghisu bought sesame sweets. After that, other snacks they followed, like fried fish and some other snacks. Okay, now they start to drink. Both became elevated. Ghisu, he was saying, what's the use of wrapping her in a shroud? After all, it would only be burned. Nothing go with her. Madhav is strongly agreeing him. Okay, then why do the rich people they are giving so much money to the Brahmins? to help their dead ones and near ones to be helped in the heaven, I think that is a waste. They are now they start to teach the people who are conducting the rituals in a grand way. Okay, and after that, when she was having that alcohol, now Madhav, he was saying, "See, my wife is very good. Even when after death, she is giving us such a fine meal." Yes, now they start to eat. Okay, now half of the bottle had been finished. Now Kisu has ordered two sets of puris, meat stew, and spice liver and fried fish. Madhav he went to the nearby shop and he bought two leaf plates. The cost was 1.5 rupees. They start to eat puris with the majesty of a tiger. The author he says that with the majesty of a tiger in a jungle, they are pursuing his prey, and then they are not having any fear about the answer they have to give for the people. How much is the sari and all? They don't have any concern about the disgrace and the account. Author he says that these people have crossed the stages of these weaknesses like this. They won't answer for such questions. He is saying, Gisu. Gisu says that, see, my soul is pleased. Definitely, she will be receiving a religious merit. Madhav is also confirming, yes, definitely, God take her to heaven. We both give our heartfelt blessing. We have a feast. It is because of her. So definitely, you have to bless her. After a moment, Madhav was asking to Gisu, later on, one day or other day, we will also go to the heaven. Then she will be asking me because I am the one who put the sendur on her forehead. For that, Gisu, he is staring at him. He is reproaching at Madhav. You shut up, Madhav. Like that. And then the conversation it goes on. They talk about the shroud. Madhav is asking what will happen. We have to answer the questions of the villagers. For that, Gisu simply says, Madhav, you don't worry. We will say that I have missed the amount. The amount that fell down from the waistband. We searched for it night and day, but we could not get it. The people would believe. Madhav, he was sincerely asking, will people believe it? Yes, the people will believe us. They will give us again the rupees. If we come to this type of shops and all, the third time they won't give money to us. But anyhow, they will be giving us the shroud for the third time. Madhav was satisfied with the answer. It is the liquor shop. No, many people are there and the stars are glittering. One person in that shop, he was singing song, another embraced his companion, and the situation, it seems that they are all the elevated spirits. Okay, then the disaster of the life, it seized them and dragged them there. All of them, they feel like that. The father and the son, they are still sipping the drink. Everyone is eyeing at them. How fortunate these two are. They are having a whole bottle between them. Gisu said, the remainings of the puris, Madhav, he went and gave it to a beggar. For the first time in his life, he felt the pride and delight of thrill of giving. Gisu said, take beggar, you eat your fill and give your blessing to the lady. She was feeding us when she was alive, and after her death too she is feeding us. So you bless her with every hair on your body. That is the payment for hard. Madhav looked toward the sky and said, she will go to heaven. She will become the queen of heaven. Gisu also stood up. As if swimming in waves of joy, he said, yes, son, she will definitely go to the heaven. The people who are committing more sins and wash their sins in the Ganges are going to the heaven. Can't she goes? Now the mood of piety it changed. It is because of intoxication. Intoxication that is due to the alcohol. Variability, it is a special quality of intoxication, as the author he mentions this. Now, out of grief, Madhav he says, but the poor lady, no, she has suffered a great deal in her life. Even to her, the death was so painful. Now he started to cover his eyes with his hands and he begins to weep. He is sobbing loudly. It is maybe because of the intoxication. Ghisu consoled him. Why do you weep, son? Now she is liberated from the life. This life is an illusion. Now she is free, so don't worry. And both of them standing together and they began to sing. Temptress, why do your eyes flash? Temptress, why do your eyes flash? Temptress. The people in the wine house, they were looking at them, but these two drunkards, they don't have worries. Now, due to deep intoxication, they kept on singing. They both began to dance, and then they leaped, they jumped, they fell down, they flounced about, and then they gesticulated, and finally, overcome by the drunkenness, they collapsed. They too didn't even attend the funeral of their family member. It is none but Madhav's wife and Ghesu's daughter in law. This is the story, son. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you.